Welcome to Nittany Nation Game Day.
You made it through the storm. Those rocky days are long gone.
Clifford, little shoulder fake now, wide open down the sideline.
You said goodbye to the Penn State seniors, only to give them one more game at Beaver Stadium.
If I were to compare week 1 and now, I feel like we're just a lot closer right now. You know, we've been through a lot.
There he goes, Dodson. Sean Clifford, he's got some wheels.
One more guaranteed game, holding out hope for another.
It is emotional. It's a roller coaster.
It's time to pass one last test, or just pass the time. Nittany Nation Game Day starts right now. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Nittany Nation Game Day. I'm Peter Terpstra. Short on a box, week 9. They're calling this thing Champions Week. Well, neither of these two teams are champions.
And I'm Jack Washer. On one hand, you got Penn State, who's on the rise. On the other hand, you got Illinois, who's just trying to, tread water. But first, Peter, how did we get here? Let me tell you. Penn State, they found a way to win their last time out. They dominated Michigan State 39-24, well, at least in the second half. Penn State actually did trail at halftime, but then outscored Sparty 29-3 in the second half, and they did it through the air on offense, and then, they kind of doubled their passing yardage to their ground yardage and whatnot. It was Penn State's third straight win, and now a bowl game could happen, so I guess we'll see, Peter.
And the special teams were a huge part of that win. We're talking an explosive kickoff return, a first down on a tricky fake punt, and of course, the punt return. Jahan Dotson, wide receiver by day, returner by night, earned Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week after the Pennsylvania native returned a punt 81 yards to the house. But what was even cooler was the celebration after he scored that thing. It felt like Penn State had just won the national championship.
That was just a representation of who our team is. We're brothers. We just love to celebrate with each other. And I knew once I scored, got to the sideline, just celebrated my guys. And the whole team mobbed me. All got up. Journey was picking me up, carrying me all the way to the bench. So it was definitely a cool feeling, just knowing that you get to celebrate with your brothers at the end of the day.
Hey, Pete, you know what season it is?
Tell me, Jack.
It's award season. Whoop, whoop. Get this. Seth Fireman just earned Best in the Big Ten honors. He used to have the Qualic Clark Tight End of the Year award, which goes to the Big Ten's best tight end. He only played in 4 games before an injury ended his season early.
Now, the Big Ten also released its all-conference teams this week. Let's start with the offense. 6 guys getting a little shine on that side of the ball. The coaches named Fryermuth first team All-Big Ten, and media members put him on the second team. Will Fries and Mike Miranda also earning second-team honors. Jahan Dotson maybe getting snubbed a little bit on the third team. He's had a great year. Michael Minute, Rasheed Walker also landing on the third team as well.
Now for the defense, you had nearly the entire defense make a Big Ten team. Shaka Toney and Jason Oweh led the way for 9 Penn State defenders. Brisker, Porter, and Wade landed on the third team. Tariq Castro-Fields earned honorable mention honors despite missing most of the year. Both defensive tackles, along with freshman linebacker Brandon Smith, also earned honorable mention honors. Now, all of that said, takes us to week 9. Penn State found out last weekend it was going to play Illinois in what we're calling, I guess,
Champions Week,
Champions
right?
Week.
Well,
yeah.
Illinois just fired its head coach, Lovie Smith. On the flip side, Penn State is playing its best ball all season.
Clifford, little shoulder fake now, wide open down the sideline.
You will see 2 teams going in 2 different directions on Saturday. Illinois is trying to piece it together after the firing of Lovie Smith.
We have to be ready for them going for it more on 4th down. We have to be ready for them to, pressure more than maybe they've pressured on the defensive side of the ball, maybe more cover 0.
Illinois has only won 10 Big Ten games in 5 years under Smith. The Illini have not won a game in nearly a month. And on the other side, Penn State has won 3 straight after having a rough start.
If I were to compare week 1 and now, I feel like we're just a lot closer right now. We've been through a lot this season, with losing people, with COVID, with, things on and off the field. It's definitely brought us a lot closer together.
The offense looks like it might have fixed its turnover problem. Now, the defense has looked dominant at times, too. And special teams made some important plays against Michigan State, showing some life that might have been missing this whole season.
We take special teams seriously. You know, CTG changing the game is important for us. You know, finally for us to have it, you know, really rolling from, you know, hard lobs, you know, great play against Michigan to Jahan's, you know, 81-yard punt return.
All of those awards, cool, wow, high five, right? But in the end, Penn State has 3 wins, Illinois is 2. But I think if you look at these 2 different teams, they are not similar, I guess, where they're at as a program. Penn State obviously has had traditionally much better seasons, never really competitive with Illinois. And Illinois just fired its head coach. So I don't think they're on the same playing field right now.
No, not at all. I mean, the stability in Happy Valley is much different than it is in Champaign right now. And as someone who grew up a Bears fan and loved Lovie Smith because of what he did there, it just didn't work out. But yeah, you know, Penn State, they started off the year 0-5 and, you know, first time ever in program history. But that's almost an aberration. You know, the Indiana game.
Penn State won that game, in my opinion.
Yeah, if they won that game, I think they're not. I don't think they're going to a national championship or a playoff, but I think they're maybe 5-3 instead of 3-5, and whatnot. And then Illinois, you know, I mean, they're trying to turn it around, but it just wasn't working with Lovie, so they're going to kind of have to hit the old reset button.
I was a little surprised. I was kind of thinking that most coaches are going to get a mulligan this year.
Well,
you know, that's how I felt.
But like someone like Lovie Smith, it's been close to 5 years now, and it wasn't trending in the right direction. So it's not like
they're consistently bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like Franklin, where like, you know, Franklin is coming off an 11-win season, and all of a sudden, you know, he had a bad season.
Start 0-5.
Yeah, exactly. You do get a mulligan for that. Yeah. Sorry, Lovie, you do not get one. Still ahead on Nittany Nation Game Day, signing day. It came and went in a blink of an eye. You're either getting better or you're getting beat. Talk about that next.
You're watching Nittany Nation Game Day.
Welcome back. Penn State, Peter, it's had itself a pretty busy week.
First, you got to play a game in late December, right, at Beaver Stadium, and you got to practice. You got to deal with a blizzard, okay? There's a lot of snow that dropped out of the sky this week. And all of that in the middle was signing day. The Nittany Lions can officially welcome in a new recruiting class. This is what signing day looks like this year. Heavy snow in Happy Valley. Packed gyms have been replaced by video calls thanks to the pandemic. And it's a game week.
For about a 3-hour block of time, I'm going to shift my time from typically a Wednesday offense, defense, and special teams, and I'm going to be handling the recruits.
Obviously, recruiting has been very different this year. Beaver Stadium and Happy Valley can be pretty magical. Well, COVID-19 might have made that magic a little harder to find.
This is also a place where you got to come and see it, and you got to have a plan to come and see it, whether it's a game or whether it's a spring game or whether it's a junior day during spring practice, then it's a special place, but you got to come see it. Well, not being able to do all those things, not having spring ball, not having summer, we've just had to be really creative.
Penn State did its recruiting virtually, just like everyone else. You can't recreate the atmosphere, but here's a sales pitch. It's the people that make the place, not the other way around.
There isn't a better place in college football to watch a game than a whiteout here at Penn State at night. It's as good as it gets. And you can't completely do that over Zoom. Obviously, the things that we did try to do to recreate that as best we can is get recruits on with all of those people.
Penn State only signed 15 recruits. The team can look at the transfer portal, and it can pick up more signees in the second signing day. Plus, all of the team's seniors are eligible to return thanks to an NCAA waiver. Let's take a look at that recruiting class. As we said, 15 players putting pen to paper. You got 4 defensive backs, 3 wide receivers, including quarterback Sean Clifford's younger brother, Liam Clifford. No running backs, but you did have a quarterback coming in, is Christian Villieu. He's originally from Canada, but he played his high school ball at the Bullis School in Maryland.
Now, Coach Franklin said the team will look harder at the transfer portal this year compared to past years, and this certainly helps. The NCAA voted to allow, to grant all Division I transfers immediate eligibility this season, thanks to the the old pandemic. And all Coach Franklin says is they would look at is defensive ends, defensive backs, maybe some other positions too. But whoever they pluck from the portal, they'll be able to play right away.
Now here's a fun little nugget. So Parker Washington having a crazy good freshman year. Well, his sister's in the game too. Ashton Washington happens to be on staff at Illinois. She's the director of high school relations for the Illini. But Coach Franklin has made it clear to his freshman wide receiver that the rules are what they are.
I told Parker there'll be no conversations this week. Do not call her. In pregame, I don't expect to see you hugging her either after the game. You do whatever you want. But this week, we were able to call AT&T here in town and have her number blocked from his phone.
He's kidding. I think he's kidding.
He was kidding.
He's got to be kidding.
Okay. Small joke.
Okay.
Small joke.
All right. So let's go back to recruiting real quick. So a couple more notes for you. According to 24/7 Sports, Penn State only signed one of the top 10 players in the state of Pennsylvania and 3 of the top 20. So you got 15 players in this class. That seems a little lower than normal. They're going to have to supplement in other ways. But what do you think about who's Penn State's bringing in?
It was not a good recruiting year by any means, but Franklin put it best, and I know it sounds like an excuse, but you think about it. You get a lot of recruits because you can take them to a whiteout game, and they're like, whoa.
And rightfully so. It's not like they're manufacturing it.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Like, this is what I get to come to the next 4 years. And when you don't have any fans, you can't have visits on campus and whatnot, it's tough because you're thinking like, oh, it's Penn State, Happy Valley, middle of Pennsylvania. It's not like in a big city or anything.
Small airport.
Yeah, small airport. So, like Franklin said, you have to go out of your way to make a plan to get here. So I don't blame Penn State by any means. I think it's much harder, but the transfer portal, that's a huge thing because now you can pluck guys out and they're going to be able to play right away. That's big. So in a way, even though they had a down year, I actually think they'll be fine because they have another avenue.
And I don't think Penn State's alone in this either. I think other schools are kind of in the same situation in small college towns around the country, maybe not picking up the classes that they wanted, but you have seen an explosion of transfers, right? Even more than before. The portal is popping. And there's a chance they can bring in some guys that can make an impact right away. But they have a really nice head start at 2022 as well.
Right, but they do need to recruit the state better. That's the thing. You have to recruit your state. If you were at a big school in the state, you have to recruit your state better, and it's just a fact. All right, coming up next, there's no football like snow football, Peter. Penn State, they had some cleaning to do at Beaver Stadium. We'll talk about that next.
You're watching Nittany Nation Game Day.
Hey, hi, hello. Looky here, y'all. This is just one of those times where I just put my dog on TV. No shame, no reason. Winston, the corgi, has just celebrated his 2nd birthday, and this is his first serious snow. And as you can see, he had a blasty blast, and he was very tired after playing in the snow all week. No segue for that. There's no day like a snow day.
You just have no shame.
I just want to put my dog on TV.
Yeah, you just have no shame.
You're welcome, everybody.
If you live in central PA right now, you walk outside and you have yourself a nice little bona fide snow day.
Snow day.
Except you probably still have to go to work. The world doesn't take snow days, and kids don't really get them now either. Penn State football, they didn't have time for a snow day. They just moved up practice and went to work. Imagine that. Snow removal project at Beaver Stadium, too. So, life goes on. Take it from Franklin.
We were at the University of Maryland. I think I was the offensive coordinator. It snowed. It was I don't know if you guys remember that year. It was 30 inches, something crazy. And I woke up and I was like, all right, I'll see you. She's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to work. And I think I had some type of SUV. So I was like, I'm going, and I couldn't get out of the driveway. And then I spent the next 6 hours shoveling the driveway. And my wife was just laughing at me the whole time.
We have all been there. You lift with your legs, Peter, not your back.
Oh, I wish I would have learned that earlier this year. Time for some news and notes. I had a back injury, by the way. And then there were 2. Penn State is now one of just 2 teams in the Big Ten that has a chance to play all 9 regular season games. Knock on wood. Michigan had to cancel its Week 9 game with Iowa earlier this week, and Indiana-Purdue called off for the 2nd week in a row thanks to the old COVID-19.
All right, one more football note for you. The Ravens placed former Penn State quarterback Trace McSorley on injured reserve this week. He had to leave Monday night's game against Cleveland with a knee injury. Now, reports have pegged it as a knee sprain. The Ravens had a comeback win against the Browns. So, get better, Trace. All right, coming up next, can you feel the love tonight? I don't know when I was going. Illinois Senate's Coach Peck, and we'll talk about it next.
You're watching Nittany Nation Game Day.
Welcome back. It's time to take a look at the opponent. That'd be Illinois. They're here right now in Happy Valley, but one specific person is not.
Illinois fired its head coach last weekend. No love for Lovie Smith. Our own Marley Huerta brings you the full story.
Well, as Lovie Smith always says, divorce can be a good thing, but divorce isn't always easy, especially when he had to leave the facility on Sunday night and say goodbye after all these years.
It is emotional. It's a roller coaster. It's one of those things, though, that we understand the job that we signed up for.
Emotions are still raw after the firing of head coach Lovie Smith. Even as the well-respected coach he was on and off the field, 17 wins in 5 years wasn't enough.
I still will stand behind Coach Smith. I think he's a phenomenal coach. Unfortunately, it is a business. College football is a major business, and we weren't productive enough while Coach Smith was here.
While some outside the program might argue there's nothing left to play for, finishing strong is important for guys like Jake Hansen and Doug Kramer, who thank Lovie Smith for the chance to play Power 5 football.
I owe everything to him. I owe a lot of my career to him. He taught me a lot about being a good man.
It means everything to me, and I'm very thankful to Coach Smith for that. Obviously, this was my dream growing up. This is where I wanted to play. So to have that faith from him and his staff meant a ton to me.
Before the Illini turn the corner to a new era, interim head coach Rod Smith is stepping in, putting the team ahead of his emotions to end this chapter on a high note.
Even though there's a chance some coaches may or may not be around, we're here for them. We're here for the kids, and we will make sure we do our damnedest to allow them to finish this thing up.
So Lovie Smith is out after 5 seasons as the head coach at Illinois. He was the head coach for the Chicago Bears before that, but Illinois went 17-39 overall in Smith's 5 years in Champaign and 10-33 in Big Ten play. Not good. But, Peter, he does have a great beard. It's a shame we won't see Santa Claus Smith Saturday night in Happy Valley.
Best beard in the game. Great name, too.
Yes.
Also, that guy also has a lot of respect in coaching circles, too. So
no doubt.
We'll kind of see where he ends up.
Yep. All right.
Back by popular demand.
Yep. It's time to make some cash money. It's time to get jacked, where I pick 3 games against the spread. All right, here we go. First game, San Jose State getting 7 points against, I believe they're playing Boise State. Yes, not playing on the blue turf. San Jose State's been an awesome story this year. Coastal Carolina, they're getting 3 points against UL Lafayette. God, I'm trying to remember all these teams and whatnot. Shants have been incredible this year. I think the Shants roll, and they continue their undefeated season. And then Clemson. Clemson's been good for us on Get Jacked. Revenge game against Notre Dame. You think Notre Dame beat Clemson, but that was up without Trevor Lawrence and a lot of the defense. Clemson -10, take the points.
Overall record, do you know?
It's like 13-8, I want to say. One and one last week. We got another canceled game. So I'm hoping we get 3 games in and we don't have to cancel anything.
And you're hoping to get 3 wins, too.
Well,
all right.
That would help.
Game time and TV. Illinois is taking on Penn State. We got a night game, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, televised on Fox Sports 1. That's where you can watch it. Let's take a little look at the Big Ten East standings. We know Ohio State's going to play for the Big Ten Championship against the Northwestern Wildcats, Indiana, Maryland, Penn State, big old bunch of teams right in there. Penn State obviously was able to work its way up the ladder, so to speak. Maryland had some canceled games in there. But
I think Penn State would have finished third, I think, if Maryland had to play more games.
Yeah, well,
they didn't have to play Ohio State.
But, I mean, keep in mind, they got the head-to-head.
Yeah, but they didn't have to play Ohio State. That's a loss.
Yeah, Big Ten West. Take a
Let's
little
do it.
peek.
Yeah, Cats going to play Ohio State today in the Big Ten Championship. Iowa, they lost their first 2 games of the season, won the remaining 6.
And they're not going to play this weekend, Michigan.
Well, they finished on a high note. They probably would have beaten Michigan, so they would have gone to 7-2.
Where Jim Harbaugh is going to go? I mean, they got to
probably back to Michigan.
All right, prediction time. Probably back. No, they got to get rid of him.
Want to bet?
Nope. Okay, we're not going there. We're going to do our. You're the betting guy. You always win those things. Prediction time. I do not think this one will be close. If this year has not been normal But, I mean, I think Penn State's getting as close to normal as it can late in the year. With everything going to go through, I think Penn State wins 30-3.
Oh, I said 49-3 on Midwest. I'm sticking with that. I think it's going to be an absolute blowout.
Yeah, and I think we both agreed that the defense is going to be dominant.
Defense is going to be dominant. I don't think Illinois has a lot to play for because, it's like the last game of the season. They're not very good. It's not like
they're going on the road to finish the season at Penn State.
And they're not trying to save Lovie Smith's job. He's already been fired.
Sorry. Yeah, and a lot of the coaches, I mean, that's just what happens. Whenever you hire a new head coach, they're going to bring in new staff.
Yeah. All right. That's our
show. Folks, we're going to catch you with a season recap next week, bowl game or not.